live on Facebook, so if you wish to
Divine-gpms.world is a worldwide cumulative gathering of consents for every child, woman, and man to ratify and enact into law worldwide the all-inclusive replacement system of money and law worldwide, as outlined on the consenting website of divine-gpms.world. It is imperative that all worldwide take a couple of minutes and consent to add your accord, children included.
Greetings to everyone. We are on January 11, 2026. Thank you so much for this meeting. Everyone that it is presented and supports divine-gpms.org. We are keeping weekly meetings. These meetings are open to the public. So if somebody wants to come and speak, we have the freedom of speech. The real freedom of speech is here. It's not to the protest. I explained in other meetings that, and we'll come back again and again. All the time we start with ascension. The ascension is extremely important. Rick George, he is with us today. He is the founder of GPMS, High Priest of Melchizedek Order, and he is with us on earth. Thank you so much, Rick, that you are here on these divine times. Your work, it is also on ascension and GPMS. So the guardians and representative, they are working in general for GPMS, very few on ascension. But Rick, he is very, very active on both. And the ascension is extremely important because it supports GPMS to start. So what it is the news, what are the news for the ascension in these divine times in January 2026?
Great. Thank you, Sister Beatrice. The first thing, which is very substantial, which just occurred, let's say a couple days ago, perhaps several days ago, was an orientation by the masses, the collective consciousness. And what I will say when I refer to the masses in the collective consciousness, that is typically 10 or 6 billion souls, if you will, is the figure that I use. And having said this, with the ascension, we have what we call is several waves, if you will, of ascendees, and the waves are associated with the levels of consciousness. So, what we have is the leading wave of those that are in their selfless service, that they know what they're here on earth to do. They know that this whole thing in their reality is not about them. It's about their divine mission and their divine service to humanity. So these are what I refer to as the first wave. They already know why they are here in this time, why they are experiencing the things they are. They have gone through their individual trials and tribulations, their tests, and they're in a reasonable level of their mastery, that it's not any longer a conscious guesswork on why they are here and why all these things are occurring in reality at this time. So typically, that is the first wave, and that first wave has done their inner work to the degree that their integrity is utmost. They're in divine law. They stand in it and be the example of divine law, which is also absolute truth. Now we have the subsequent waves that again are at various degrees and levels with their consciousness transitioning into the divine consciousness or the Christ consciousness. and all that that entails. But more importantly, what we had was a huge wave, a huge number, which is approximately 45%, if you will, of the 6 billion. But at the same time, this 45%, there's also the other upper echelons of 15% is the next wave above. And then the next wave above that is about 10%. But these three waves are down in a scale of about seven ascending waves. So up here you have the vanguard, the first wave, you have the second wave, you have the third wave. And as I go down, each wave has more of the collective consciousness in it by population, by number. But what you have down here is the masses, and they reside, let's say, in the, let's just give them the fourth to seventh level of consciousness. So let's just use seven waves in this presentation to explain what is occurring. So what we now have, what we had before leading the charge was the main three top tiers of what you could call a divine pyramid, if you look at the numbers, because it does create the pyramid. But what the divine pyramid is all about is the masses, the huge numbers of humanity, to bring them all up here to the top. And what this does, it creates the open pyramid like this, where the people are at the top of the power structure where they should be, all of the numbers, the mass population of souls. So, having said this, what occurred is that these masses down here, which still need to ascend in consciousness, they have been catapulted forward to a degree, and unbeknownst to them, mostly yet, if they do know what has occurred, then they will go from these lower ascension wave right up to the top. And it's quite possible you'll see them popping in as guardians and representatives very soon for the ones that that occurs with. So what you have is what you can say an abrupt awakening for those that are designated to step forward out of the flock and take the leadership shepherd roles. And you have many of these shepherd roles that are by divine design already here, but we have more that will emerge out of this mess and this flux of the masses. So keeping it simple and getting right to the point, all of these are now catalyzed. It's the numbers is billions are now catalyzed and oriented towards the new world. Now, how long this takes, they're oriented towards divine GPMS, even though it's unbeknownst to them. That is their divine orientation and their soul orientation because of their choices that have occurred. So, without explaining, I got a double echo because I got my phone on over there, and it's for I it's a little bit distracting when I'm attempting to say these things. And the reason I got the phone on is because later in the meeting I anticipate having Ray read an important statement that we have just written up about capitalism and altruism. So it's a very important statement, and I wish for her to read it. But getting back to the ascension, keep it simple, a very pivotal, critical mass movement forward. And this is what's set up. And this is a a very good sign as we see the capitalistic system melting down, losing its support because it's being exposed and revealed for what it is. And having said this, we're going to have Ray read off the statement if it works later, and everyone can see the reasoning why. Uh, so, with the overall ascension, your ascension symptoms, what so many feel with density, tiredness, fatigue, aches, and pains, all of these are phantom symptoms, meaning that you feel them and you experience them, but there is nothing medically wrong with you because it's not about that. It's about energy overall. It's also about the physical vessel being evolved internally to exist in the new reality where evil, negativity, energies does not exist. So the physical vessel has to go through an evolution process of rewiring the DNA, excluding the imprint DNA of negative memories, and it deals with, it's all inclusive. It also deals with the consciousness at replacing, as an example, past events that might have been a traumatizing event, at transitioning how it's perceived and looked at, which is part of a normal transcendent ascending process, to now look at a traumatic experience that was necessary for the individual to have it as an example to choose what is right, and also the divine incentive to no longer allow it, but also in the individual perspective to look at this traumatic experience as being necessary for the evolution of the individual going through the experience, being able to analyze it from the time when it occurred, but now being able to apply the higher principles and perceiving it from a higher state of consciousness, which actually transitions it by simply knowing that the individual wrote the script to have this necessary experience. It had to be a part of their life experience to become what they are now and to make the higher choices. So it was actually a prescribed experienced by the individual soul themselves, although unbeknownst to them. Now, this does not apply in all cases. What I need to say is that there's been divine ones that at the soul level, when you come here, you have written these traumatic experiences into your experience for the education and the mastery. But there is also the other, that a soul came here to enjoy a certain experience, but what occurred, there was direct universal laws broken and violations of that soul's experience. And this is what created, if you will, the huge violations of divine law, because on the soul level, the soul's experience was being interfered with. For example, one, just hypothetically, one was to come here and, let's say, live a great life. But what occurred, they become a target by the darkness that violated their rights, if you will. So in these cases, if you wish, it was an intentional violation, targeting attack by the darkness itself, which violates universal laws. And it also set the precedent for many of us divine ones to incarnate here to rectify this serious omniversal situation that had occurred and also prevented humanity from taking its respectful place in universal time in conjunction with all of the other beings, races, universally, omniversally, galactically, whichever way you wish to look at it. Nevertheless, the ascension is ascertained for Earth, with many going forward with the physical vessels intact. That's what it's about. That's why we're all here. It's why you'll hear truthfully from many so-called masters that have done all their inner work. Ideally, they should not be in this reality, but the reason why they are still here is because the mission is actually the planetary mission to advance the masses forward into a civilized state in preparation for what's to come with their experience with the rest of the universe and omniverse, which includes the interaction with other beings from other universes and what have you. Keep it simple. So it is with this, it's been a spiritual battle, which is very true, meaning that all things are not written in stone to what the actual number is that ascends to bring the heaven on earth fully. There are some that will not make it. There's some in the past, many that could not make it because of one reason was the mass genocide attempt upon humanity, which was worldwide, as we know, that has taken many lives and continues to do so. Nevertheless, there are those that are preserved, that harm does not come to, and they transition to ensure that the heaven on earth occurs and remains, and especially all the beautiful children born today. So they're still part of this spiritual battle that is playing out. And again, at any given time, it is the choices by the people. And what's so important is for them to choose the more than altruistic system of GPMS, and let this capitalistic system and man-made law system fall away and choose the optimal altruistic system. So we're in this process. The individual choices are being divinely honored somewhat. However, I need to make this clear that the freedom of choice here is not on earth what it used to be, meaning that humanity that is going forward are being also divinely forced to transition instantly, I like to say rapidly, to the divine GPMS system. So there is really no choice by the individuals. They either align, or if they don't align, then that is another divine matter. And as you can see, also worldwide, with all of the increasing events in the intensities of those storms, floods, earthquakes, unprecedented natural disasters, but at the same time, unprecedented signs in the skies and what have you. All of these products are designed to catch the attention of the individual to become aligned with what is right. And upon earth, one of the greatest principles of righteousness and morality and peace and love is the Christ figure, Jesus. So you're also seeing right at this time an alignment with all of the Christ revivals worldwide, that ones are at least turning to Jesus, but this is their alignment with what is right that is in process as well. So it's the choices are being made, but there are variable factors, and I need to make that clear with this ascension and what to just give you a more distinct, immediate picture on it. There was one time, I believe, last year, just after GPMS, if you will, got internally attacked by some of its own guardians. At that point, what occurred, because it was so severe with the divine laws that were broke and the oaths, that at that time, I believe it was only possible for about 2.2 million to ascend into the heaven on earth scenario. So that was one of the severe times with the maximum time around 5.9 billion able to go forward. So you see the huge discrepancy in the numbers, but I use this to show how the choices of ones and what they align with, how it affects the outcome that with these variables. So it shows that yes, the ascension is ascertained. However, there is that degree of certainty on who makes it with their physical vessel and who doesn't, because it's their choices, it's their judgment, and what they align with. So if you align with betrayal and you do that in this now, that is your judgment, and it dictates where you will go, or let's say where you will stay behind in the dark purgatory realm. And this is the self judgment that ones are going through, but it's also important to realize that there's been many masters of deception, the dark ones themselves that are here, that they'll speak all of the beautiful things. They'll look like that they are the light and have the higher consciousness. But during this time of judgment, their actions and deeds actually reveal and show them that they are the masters of deception by actually lying, and it's revealed because that is part of the fallen ones and the dark ones judgment as well. So I kind of kept that lengthy, if you will, and I'll stop with this so we go forward, because I could be rambling for hours and days on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will share the screen with something that you posted on your Facebook, and I will say why I share the screen on this Bible post, because this is true. And when I'm speaking with Christian, they are like a barrier because they do not recognize GPMS, unfortunately. And they believe that everything inside of the Bible is true. I said that not everything is true because the Bible has many versions. It depends on the version. The darkness had also an influence, but they do not recognize GPMS. They are still waiting for a man from the sky to come second time and save their life. So here it is about GPMS on Isaiah 43, 18 to 19. Is a powerful biblical passage where God tells his people to forget the former things, do not to dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing.
Well, let's simply just to put this metaphorically, what it means is forget the capitalistic system.
Exactly.
We are doing the new thing with divine GPMS. So even though, let's say, ones were waiting for one to come from the sky, they transition in their beliefs and realize that they need to be responsible. It's part of their process. So you'll see this advancement in their consciousness through realization. So it's at times I put out these biblical references because they do have truth and they have the metaphorical truth. But again, with things like the Bible, it depends on the level of consciousness, what you're reading it from, on how you will perceive it and associate it with what is occurring. So just because ones are still waiting for Christ to come out of the sky, if you will, they're finding, for example, that it doesn't always occur that way, where individuals, let's say in Iran and Iraq, that have been visited by Jesus in the last 2 years. And you're looking at Muslims here that have had the very profound, real experience of Jesus visiting them and them immediately aligning with Jesus. So with this example, what you're seeing is that these individuals are discovering that Jesus is not coming completely in the sky to them, that Jesus is already here and giving them the instructions and the alignment to align with this reality now and also to be responsible. So within the Bible, yes, there's many good things, but there are also some manipulations. And I think it's in Romans 13 or 15, how that was intentionally, that chapter was changed and written by the darkness themselves. But when ones are of the higher consciousness, when they read the Bible, they're able to more readily discern from their heart space what is true and what has been distorted and manipulated. So, this is the same as with ones when they rise in the consciousness, they're expecting Jesus to come out of the sky to save them. But as they rise in the consciousness, they'll see they're already saved, that it's already here with Divine-gpms.world. So then their perspective begins to change to see this, that their prayers have been answered, just not in the way that they thought it would be. Because again, everything in the Bible is written metaphorically, and it had to be written and presented that way because the human consciousness then could not perceive and identify in the higher ways of how divine association works. So, from the higher consciousness, they're able to say now, oh, I see what that means. It's not actually as it is that Jesus comes with a white robe and sandals. It's not about the stereotype or the figure, it's about the actions and the deeds to be Christ-like and to recognize that when it arrives. Just to keep it simple. Thank you.
Yes, so we know that the churches they are under the government. The money I receive from the government as payment for the salary and everything. And I had my experience also in Romania when I understood that the government visit also the churches and they implant the camera. Then they are able to see the confession after and all other kind of stuff. So. Because of this manipulation of the part of the government, and I know what happened also with some priests that they were basically like angels. So they had a very hardship with the communism and everything. So because of the government, I prefer do not go inside of the churches. But yesterday, going door to door on Edmonton to share cards, I met like an angel. She was probably 14 or 15 years old or 16 maximum. And she opened the door, she listened the message, and by the end, she said, thank you so much for the card, but we have faith. So It's like any kind of the system will be replaced with the faith. So she was not able to see GPMS as the system sent by the gods. On my short message, I was not able to insert um, all the description about GPMS. Could be a long one, and she was so beautiful, even that she get the card, but uh, rejected somehow the message. But on her way, she was so beautiful. I recognized the good energy inside and everything. So she had the faith. She had the faith on God. And I said, okay, so this is a huge motivation to start to go also to the churches, because the people direct towards the churches, exactly as Rick said, is like a revival of the Jesus Christ. Then the people are going there. Then it is also our duty as guardian, a representative worldwide, to meet also the churches. So, despite the fact that I know the government will be around there, um, I will go there in person, and I will let the people to know what church was visited via Facebook and Telegram account, exactly with address and everything, details. This is extremely important because the priests, they recognize, they know we are in divine times, and they may recognize GPMS, even that the passage from the Revelation was get out from the Bible. They may recognize GPMS as the correct system for the people, and God will and everything. And probably some of them, they may get inside and start to move the people towards GPMS. I hope that this may happen. So I know how hard it is, exactly how Rick explained. Yes, Rick.
Hi everyone. I'll put the camera off for this. It's cold outside and my phone changed. Just having a cigarette. Importantly, what I need to state is that on our website just a few days ago, we are upgrading it. We put on the Christian perspective. And one of the reasons why we put on the Christian perspective is for the Christians and the ones aligned with Christ, if you will, knowing that the heaven on earth would occur. This makes it easier for them to identify and connect divine GPMS with the heaven on earth, if you will. So not only did we give the Christian perspective, we also give the Islam perspective with Allah, and we also with the indigenous perspective, and which we have to come. We only have the Christian perspective on there yet. We do have prepared the Islam perspective, the indigenous perspective, and the all-inclusive universal perspective as well, to accommodate all faiths and beliefs upon earth, if you will, to assist in them and more readily identify that this is what has been spoken prevalently through their faiths, that this time would come. And now what I need to say is that all people come together. And when you look at, let's say, with all of the current fighting by ones against, let's say, Christians against Muslims and back and forth, what ones need to know is that there's bad actors that's planted within Christianity and within Muslim to create fighting and separation. And what I can give you, I have beautiful brothers and sisters that are of the Muslim faith. And let me just say, they are the most caring, most beautiful, and most devoted to God, if you will. So, having said this, the Islam faith, along with the Christian faith worldwide, is the majority of the people. And this is so important to know this, that GPMS does not discriminate, and it does not try to create this new world with a quarter of the population which are Christian. This is all inclusive, and all of those aligned with morality and God. Um, we all go forward to create this new world. So there is no discrimination between beliefs. So we have accommodated this on the website to make it easier that ones can follow the breadcrumbs right to their heaven on earth, to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, however you may wish to look at it. So I just wanted to, I got a background noise, don't I? I'll stop. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much to share that we are inclusive system, all inclusive system. This is extremely important because some people may believe that we are part of some religious or something like. I was even asked yesterday by someone said, okay, are you part of any religions, culture or something like? And I said, okay, so the founder, it's a very high advanced spiritual being, but at the same time, it's not about any kind of religion. It is about universal laws and everything. So the people are asking. And this is extremely important to understand that we have unlimited and unlabeled freedom and rights. And one of them, it is the right of belief. So it is the freedom of belief. So at the same time, you mentioned that some of us, they were part of some light experiences. Is true. I was also part of this experience on 2017 when I understood that the pyramid system is the problem. We are equal, but the pyramid system is kept and manipulates everything. And but there is a pyramid. It is on the spiritual level, but this is something very, very different. And the people may ascend. Right now, a little bit Rick on the term of ascension because. Many people are saying you are speaking so technical and I'm not able to understand. Some are ascended, some are not ascended. So if I am not ascended, I am a bad one. So no, it's not about that. But at the same time, um, when you are on the street and you try to explain ascension, and you know that the span attention is probably less than 1 minute sometimes, can come through energy experience. So first, this is part of the introduction on a conversation. How can we summarize? It's the cell transformation from the carbon state to the crystalline, but at the same time, how can we summarize in seconds what it is ascension? And the people are afraid, oh, probably I'm not ascended, so I'm a bad one. What is happening there? How can we explain to them that they are beautiful ones and they have soul and everybody can ascend in reality? Okay, probably not all of them. They may be part of the ascension because also the mass genocide. But at the same time, how can we explain them in seconds or maximum 1 minute what it is the ascension?
Well, the first thing, just do we need to explain to anyone? It's best if you're speaking to anyone, have them go and do the research themselves. Yes, you can lead them in the right direction, just keeping simply that the world is in a divine direct protocol of ascension. And that's why everything is occurring, all of the destruction, if you will. And all of the unprecedented signs in the sky, all of the civil unrest. But also with that, I may have to put my phone outside because it's I got it turned down low, but it's still with my voice, it's still loud. Just simply with the ascension, it doesn't matter if they believe the ascension or not. GPMS is common sense, worldwide majority vote. So again, they don't even need to believe in God. And if they want to know more about ascension, hey, just say, go and do your research on it. The planet is ascending. All of those that are in integrity and doing the right things, that are simply a good soul, a good person, then get in alignment with this and know what it is and be a part of it and assist humanity, do the right and the good things, and become part of this so that, simply it's what each individual uses. But again, it's absolutely psychopathic and it's insane that about 30,000 plus individuals are dying every day of hunger. This is savage. So you don't need to really say too much. Anyone with a little bit of common sense can see how ridiculous it is, but also how immoral it is to allow a system to continue that is killing perhaps 20,000 children worldwide every day because of just hunger itself. The numbers of children being killed worldwide because of the result of the overall capitalistic system is much higher, very much higher. But we can use the basics at what are being killed because of the capitalistic system of depriving them of food. And this is a world of plenty. As we know, money is unlimited. The problem is that those that the people believe that are the power, those are the ones that are controlling it and limiting it with the capitalistic system, which is causing all of the harm. Having said that, what I have written up with Ray, if I may at this time, just give the people that are watching about the capitalistic and the altruistic system. So if that resonates, perhaps I'll get Ray to read it off now. What I'll do is I'm experimenting, so I'll bring my phone over, but I'll get her to read it, if you will. And this is and I'll be posting this later. And what I suggest, we'll put it in our groups for ones to share it on social media because it's right to the blatant, obvious truth. So, having said that, uh, I'll bring over and just give me a moment, and then I'll begin to play. She'll speak this out for everyone.
Yes, and because we will be speaking also about the capitalistic system, I would like to share a little bit part of my experience. So I was not full awake in 2017. I passed through a video on YouTube when a policeman spoke about Freemason and how he was on the top of the Freemason 33 degree and how he was able to survive and to get rid from the Freemason. And I did not fully believe that video because I said, this is so hard. This could be not true. It is too much for the people. I don't believe that. God is here too on earth, so it's not possible to be so hard. But in 2020, and in 2017, I had no idea about the Freemason. So in 2020, what happened? Another experience. it was ex-CIA spy Robert Steele that shared a lot of details about the adrenochrome. Then my question was, we have a sort of species on Earth that it is so present. And this is basically a continued presence of the darkness. And after that, I hear about the soulless people. So I become awake, more and more awake, when I was much more part of the freedom movement, and I listen a lot of video, and I started to get in touch with the people, and especially since I am on GPMS with Rick, I started to understand better about the soulless people. Right now, yes, we have this presence, a physical presence on Earth, like soulless people, that they are keeping the capitalistic pyramid scheme system. It has nothing to do with the pyramid on spirituality. So it is just the opposite. So Rick, please share about a little bit more about this capitalism system, because the people understand that some parts of the countries, they are under democracy, and this is not capitalism. So because also the darkness changed so many words and let the true capitalism to happen in the United States, and was probably softer in another part of the earth. The people are not able to understand that democracy is still capitalism. They believe on democracy and everything. So there is a lot of confusion. And when you refer to the capitalists, they may believe, oh, no, the capitalism is only in the United States. So I'm under democracy. So please let us know more details.
All right. Give me a moment here and let me know if you're hearing this all right when I begin. Um, Ray, please read this out loud. Just give me one moment. I got to put this in. Just give me one moment. It's setting up. I don't care much for reading scripts, but she loves it. So let her give this presentation, if you will. All right, give me one moment here. All right, here we begin.
Capitalism, altruism, and the choice before humanity. Capitalism is an economic and social system built on private ownership, competition, and organizing principles. Value is measured almost exclusively through monetary return and accumulation. Within capitalism, resources flow toward those who already control capital, and success.
No, I had to stop that, even though I turned what is interesting. Yeah, this doesn't readily work like this. Just give me a few moments.
It is also an echo. It is better to share the screen if possible, then the people can read. Just until Rick will be more prepared for all the people to understand that socialism, capitalism, democracy, communism, etc., they are all parts of what we are calling capitalism. So just the name, it's different, but it is based on the same pyramid system, few controls many. And Freemason exists. So I was able to understand that in 2020. I was looking over the internet and I said, wow, so many public locations. This is incredible. And after that, I was on the street and I started to fear. And I said, I fear for what? Because right now I know that the Freemason exists, but they existed also before. So I get rid of the fear first. But for me, it was like a shock. So yes, there are so many public locations. The Freemason exists. Um, so soulless people are have a physical presence on our governments and everything. So this pyramid system where few controls many, in general, few that control so many, they are not real people many, all the times with soul. They are soulless people. They come from under the ground. There are facilities under the ground, etc. So I share all the time for all the people to hear because part of the Christianity people, they still do not believe on that. And I pass through that, then I get more awake and awake more in 2020. Yes, Rick. So everything that Rick is saying about capitalism, it's basically about the pyramid system as government and everything. Yes, Rick, if you may share the
Yes, all
screen
right.
for
Let's
reading.
let's try this option to see if you can hear it. I think I did tried this before, but let's try this. Were you able to hear that?
Yes, yes, I hear.
You could hear Ray speaking?
Yes.
All right, then I'll play it this way, then it will work. All right, just give me a moment and I'll start it again.
No, no, it's not working. Okay, so Rick, please allow me, send me the message, then I will put in a video
All right, just
and
hold
we'll
on. I
share.
can't. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll share next week the video.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't hear what you were saying. So you're saying that you couldn't hear her speaking,
Yeah, so there is an interruption, and it is also
but but
her
but
voice. It's not the voice is not clear.
all right, I'll just scrap that idea.
Yes,
Thank you.
exactly.
Carry
Please
on.
just send me the message on writing, then I will make myself a video with voice and everything and will be presented next week.
Yeah, great. Yeah, continue with the meeting. I have a couple other things I'll say
Yes,
later.
I would like to mention for everyone, Denovan and also Maxine, they are working on TikTok. We need more guardians to work on TikTok to share GPMS benefits and the system. I speak about GPMS in general. Also, what I would like to share it is there will be a GPMS meeting for Philippines on Wednesday this week that is coming. Also, door to door, I am forced, so I beg the people to start door to door to share GPMS cards. This will be extremely important. And also, we had Jonathan and Serhi. They participated on January 10 yesterday to a protest. And just before this meeting, I started a conversation, very important conversation with Jonathan, that basically described the protest and the leaders' of the freedom a little bit. So Jonathan, if you are here, would like to hear more about. So Jonathan or Serhi?
Oh yeah, hi everyone. So
Okay, so
I'm
both,
here.
yeah,
yeah,
Serhi, a little bit of your experience yesterday on Toronto. Believe me, I miss Toronto. So I know so many good people they are there, but at the same time, we have protests going nowhere. And also after that, Jonathan, to speak a little bit about how when the understanding it's about energy, vibration, frequency, everything is changing. So yes, Serhi.
yeah, hi everyone. I would like to thank Jonathan for joining me on a meeting yesterday, on a protest meeting. Without him, it was hard, but with him, it was much easier. So it was very interesting experience because I never saw like a protest like this. Protest was divided by two sides. One side was protesting against Canada immigration rules, and another side was like a counter protest. They do not support what the first side want, and it was like a divided on the right and left sides. And we, with Jonathan, staying right on the middle and give it to the people message like Divine-gpms.world. We have a big placard and cards and spoke with the people. It's only was like an hour and a half, so we didn't have much time to spoke with many people, but probably we speak with around 50 people and give around 50 cards. It was good, but it was very different, like I said. And energy was so like I can say very very low because people like shooting messages from one side to the other one side, like what they are not agree was, and just trying to counter like I don't know part one side from another. And it's ended not so good also because like a Canadian side started to march around the block, and the counter part side started to blocking them, doesn't allow them to walk. And police has to like probably arrest someone because we didn't stay to the all end, we just left after the gathering on a big square was ended. But it was like a strange things to see. The people have like a lots of hate. They don't want to like take a divine message to unite and just be peaceful. They're still looking for some other directions. They want to fix the problem by fighting, but it doesn't work like that. But I'm happy that we was there and we give it to them this kind of message, and sooner or later they will understand it and they will remember the message, and probably they will vote soon. Not much votes came right now from Canada side, but hopefully they will wake up. Yeah, thank you so much.
Jonathan, a little bit on the protest. You are thinking on the protest, it's very correct. And I share also probably 2, 3 years ago also via GPMS, almost the same message in other words. So
So,
please tell the people what is really happening with the protest and what the protests are doing by then.
so can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Can you
sure.
hear me? Yeah, okay, okay. So one of the things I noticed, the difference between I don't even know if we can call it a freedom convoy or Canada First. I don't even know what that even is supposed to signify or represent, but I was in Ottawa during the trucker convoy. And one thing I noticed is the trucker convoy had just about every walk of life and every ethnicity, every type of religion, all banding together, and the feeling of love was just generally felt in the air. Where the protests now seem very divisive, even on either side, right? Um, you have a bunch of kids. I don't know. Let's use the word Antifa because I guess that's what they go by, who are chanting and screaming slogans that they don't even understand. I don't even know if they ever opened up a history book. Not that the history books are very truthful, but even understand the origins of the philosophy in which they're a belief system side seemed very um, moved a wounded soldier in battle. So, okay, we're going to do things peacefully, but the slogan is very divisive in itself. So, what I understood is certain things from very wise people in the past who have said, what you resist persists. That is very true because our consciousness forms reality. And when we're feeding something, the universe doesn't have a a sense of humor, or it doesn't have good or bad. It will give you what you're giving it attention to. That's how it works. Manifestation is the same way, right? This is really all manifestation. So the governing forces that I understood in the known universe is energy, frequency, and vibration. And that is, and to the more you can understand that, the more everything will make sense to the world around us and within us and without us. The protest seems like where I see it going. I see that they're, almost like in the U.S., you have a movement of deportation and then America First, which is again divisive, and it's ultimately going to just divide people further until it will potentially get violent. Now, I don't want that to be the case, but unfortunately, when speaking with people, um, I found that a lot of people want the old Canada back, and I don't think people understand, regardless if you want it or not, it's what it is. I don't think you're going to get a Canada back. That's not possible. Number one. Number two, who would want it? Because that system sucked anyway. You're going to get a Canada back. That's not possible. Sorry?
Yeah, it is Nico that started. So please, can you speak again to see if the audio is okay?
Well, anyway, I felt a lot of tension. I felt a lot of um, very high tension in the area. It was very uncomfortable for me to be there. I'm very sensitive to large crowds, and if a large crowd is very happy, it's blissful. But when it's not, it's always, since I was a child, affected me. I could feel a lot of people's moods and how they feel. Um, and it's something that I gradually noticed, which is again, got to give it to the people who orchestrate all this. Um, Divide the people, and they're easier to conquer. And it seems that method is working extremely well in North America, unfortunately. So I had somebody I spoke to, and he seemed like a very educated person. Um, More to the tune of wanting the same style of what's going on in the United States with anti-immigration and deportation, and potentially having them come here to do it. So at the end of the day, whenever I see people protesting or joining a movement, because to be honest with you, this is the first one I've ever joined or wanted to be a part of. I understand it seems very important when you have people take a for cancer, and we're gonna run for that, or for homeless, and we're gonna run for that, and I mean, if I sit here and think, I can probably label just so many different things that seem noble to run for and to create a movement for. But at the end of the day, it's like every other system we have. It's like our medical system works in reductionism. So, for example, if I'm having pain in my shoulder, the doctor will give me a painkiller, as they say. And that's fine because it's going to take away the pain. It might be more comfortable, but it's never going to go to the root cause of what's causing that pain in order to get over it so I can be not dependent on anything. And it seems all these different rallies, it doesn't matter, you know, you have people walking around saying free Lebanon in a country where we're not free, which I found very ironic. So it's very much the the angle of attack just seems all over the place. Everybody seems scattered, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of focus. When I see a lot of people out there, I don't know how to phrase it because I don't like to use the words people without a soul. Um, I, I just find that there's so many people who are not aware that they're not aware and are just being governed by emotion and instinct to perpetuate whatever it is that they are told to do. And everybody's lazy today. Nobody has the ability to sit down and do some research when it's never been easier to do. You can just, everybody has internet or computer or access to one, and there's a wealth of information there for you to be able to find the truth. And it just seems very difficult because when the worst part of it of being at the protest is you have two sides really screaming at each other, but nobody listening. So for people listening, anybody you know, so very hard to there's the answers for very so we believe we gotta go march. It was like whatever and it was just fire and again it's very important. Really have no idea be able to sit and talk. Find very with society now is very juvenile and I know
It is a distortion of the sound. It is already a distortion of the sound. Not able to understand you very well. Not really, not right now.
is this
No, probably you should come on other device.
okay?
Are you
And
able to hear me?
after you are here, close this device because seems this is not working. So move on cell phone or
Are you
something like that has another internet.
are you able to hear me well, Sister
Yes,
Beatrice?
yes.
All right, great. Uh, well, with Brother Jonathan, I'll speak a little bit, but come back in, brother, later if you're not finished what you were saying. But what I wish to say is about the immigration thing, yes, is being used as a tactic as well to create animosity and what have you worldwide. But as what Brother Jonathan was importantly pointing towards, that immigration, that the core reason for it is again, it's the capitalistic system. And the core solution worldwide is Divine-gpms.world, where there is no reasoning for anyone to leave their country to go to another country to try to survive because they have everything in their own country. So simply Divine GPMS is the worldwide instant solution for any immigration problems, if you will, in its simplicity. But what I'm also beginning to see at the demonstration, if you will, or the protest that Brother Sergey and Jonathan were at, is you see the controlled lobbyist opposition that comes in, if you will, to create intentional distortion. And throughout politics, this is a common tactic that they use with lobbyists to create discord, distraction, disharmony, and also they use it as a form of suppression and ridicule as well. And these tactics are very prevalent in what you were sharing. And also, when you look at though the psychological, Brother Jonathan coming back in, when you look at the psychological controls and tactics by the darkness, if you will, in the capitalistic system, which is the darkness and the head controllers, what they will push and propagate out to the people to psychologically control them is things and mottos like America great again, Canada great again, America first, Canada first. But again, with any reasonable one, you will see how that is a distinct discrimination to the rest of the world. And also, by doing so, it's making the rest of the world to pay for any individualization in any country. And these are dark separating tactics, and they use the psychological warfare to this extent. And because the attention span of most, because they've been psychologically conditioned and they don't know what they don't know yet, the attention span is very limited, and they're easy to be controlled and manipulated and sucked in to saying simple things like America first, because they don't need to think about actually what it is doing and what it's actually saying and the harmful discrimination that is actually with it by making themselves better than the others when realistically everyone is human in the least, and there is no one that is better than another. It is the capitalistic beast system, elite system, and the deep state, which does these psychological warfare tactics to separate humanity. So again, what you see is that cognitive dissonance that is directly connected to their attention span, that they don't think. They just act and react on impulse by a narrative that is psychologically given to them to control them and all of these things. So, yes, these are notorious tactics of the darkness meant to separate and divide. Again, when common sense and the most logical, rational, reasonable solution, which is so easy, is Divine-gpms.world. And, also when you look at Canada, with the population density is very low, perhaps it's around I just forget. I did look the other day, but it's less than 10 per square kilometer. And when you compare this to Palestine, if you will, which has 900 to a square kilometer, you see a huge difference. And also when you look at Russia, so which is below 10, it's probably 6 or 7 perhaps to square kilometer of their landmass. When you look at this population density, it's very unrealistic and ridiculous for ones to complain about immigration. But again, the core thing with immigration is because of the capitalistic system that causes these things and pressures humanity worldwide. And again, right back to what Brother Jonathan was saying, uh, the core problem and reason is the capitalistic system that Divine-gpms.world is replacing. And as I wanted to read off what we had there that didn't work, but it clearly puts it out to anyone. And I love what Brother Jonathan said, which is so very true and so powerful about one's, they really only need to take a few minutes to stop scrolling and following the blind herd and just do a little bit of research. As you said, and in a half an hour, they can find very quickly, what is going on, and to see how themselves are being controlled into the controlled propaganda, which is keeping them from themselves and from their true redemption, salvation, freedom, and abundance. So, yes, I'll stop there. Thank you so much.
I believe Jonathan may try right now
Oh,
to see if the audio is working.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Not, you know, I can. So if anybody who doesn't know me, I started. I had a very interesting life, and that life allowed me to really experience everything from poverty, hunger to abundance. So I think I have a unique way of looking at things, having experienced different parts of what many are going through. Where the common denominator that I see is always the same thing, which is externalizing your inner power to a system outside of you. And that's the only thing that's preventing you from succeeding, from healing, from having a bountiful life, and from enjoying life in general, which is my understanding is our true purpose of being here. I feel very personally involved when it comes to the status quo. I want to crush it and I want to destroy it. It's a burning desire I have in me. I was never a bully. That's one thing I never really experienced. And I used to stand up for people who I didn't even know that were being bullied because I just couldn't stand seeing somebody who can easily overpower somebody do so. Um, and that's a lot of what I kind of see going on is there's just such a dear lack of emotional maturity and a frightening amount of educational unawareness. So I don't know where it works and how things transfer over, but I know the human condition learns through suffering. And where I come in is I have such a big heart as I'm trying so hard to help people not have to suffer needlessly, that there's a better option out there. I just don't know, and it's also not my place to tell somebody when it's their time to wake up. It's not my job to dictate what is real and what is not to other people. When it comes to, ascending and all that, as we had this discussion earlier, for myself, how I understand it, it's just the further level of awareness and awareness of consciousness is all that is. The words have been manipulated through Hollywood, through fairy tales, fantasy movies, but it's simply put as being aware of your actions at every moment and exercising that awareness. For example, when we're driving somewhere, how much, let's say you're in the car for an hour, how much of that hour, when you get to your destination, if you think back, were you really aware of something, or just in autopilot driving your vehicle to your destination? So to simply put it, is that awareness is being able to have consciousness of whatever you can around you during that whole transportation. And the more of your awareness during that hour commute is what raises your frequency. It's what raises your vibration. It's what is your ascension, instead of being governed. Or when you come home, if you find yourself watching too much news, or video games, things that are taking you outside of yourself without you being aware. I rambled on enough, so.
No, thank you so much. It is excellent. This is the truth that also Tesla recognized. When we are thinking on terms as energy, frequency, vibration, everything changes. And it is about a level of ascension for the freedom leaders. This is all about. This is the reason that they perpetuate the system, and it's also, as you mentioned before, a sort of resistance, but at the same it is mixed with darkness. That it was especially on the behind the first convoy, Canada convoy. I knew that. I did not participate on the convoy because I was aware of that. I was informed. And after that, I spoke with different people, even some Freemason, and they mentioned that. So the darkness is real, control the system, the actual system. The people may believe or not, but it is about control. Some people, they get inside of the Freemason because they need a job, and also for their personal protection. Because of the darkness system, they feel more protected there. Not necessarily they want to participate on doing bad things. They just try to make a protection for their life and for the family life. But when they get up and up on the degree and everything, they realize they have to deal with a sort of darkness that has half of the body that is not human, or in general, it's not human, but half of the body, it's different, and they do not like it. They try to get back. They cannot. They can be killed. So it is a lot that is happening. Their family do not want to be involved, or some part they were pushed to be involved. So it is a lot there. Right now, for everybody, it is the time to turn towards the correct God that also Rick describes and GPMS describes, and I describes too, the God of everything that it is good. You can choose directly this God in your heart. And when you choose that, you are able to start to ascend. More you ascend, even that you are catch inside of the system somehow because of the darkness, having a soul, you'll be able to detach, because the darkness has no power as it had before. It still has a physical presence on Earth, but it has not a lot of power how it was the situation before. I know the darkness work through the system uh, uh, with two rules, minimum two rules: divide and conquer that you mentioned, and this is true. And the other one was the control the head, then you control the masses. I received also a video on this way. It was part of the international programming of the masses, that basically it was a sort of education for the leaders of the world. So this was part of the darkness. And I said, okay, thank you so much that right now I understand. I was awake in 2017 about this pyramid system. that Rick described all the time as capitalist system. So there is only dependence on the system, exactly as you mentioned, and all these freedom leaders, in reality, they do not share the true freedom. They are still dependent, let the people dependent on the system. You have the hand arises just to share the true definition of the freedom, and after that I'll let you to speak. So this is Divine-gpms.world website. As Rick mentioned, it is in working process. It is about all-inclusive system, so it's not about a religion or a specific religion. Started to be developed for the Christian, but much more will come. It is a universal nation. It is about universal laws, do no harm. And we have no borders. The borders means limitation and control. And when we scroll down to see the decree, we can see the decree with the freedom of belief. So this includes all of us. And also a right to moral and ethical choice of self-determination. I do not know if all the people may see right now, probably yes, if I move like that. And at the same time, what it's the true definition of the sovereignty. So all the people from the freedom movement, they do not realize that they do not share the true definition of the sovereignty. Every man, woman, and child is born and is by nature free, equal, sovereign, and possesses the inherent knowing of what is morally and ethically right. So free, equal, sovereign. So this is the true sovereignty. After that, it is the explanation. By definition, no one can ever be in a position of authority above another. So this describes the system. This describes the direction where we have to go. So the true sovereignty, it's described here. When we go to the protest and we see just that the people protest to change a little bit the actual law, the common law, that it is the artificial law with something else inside, but they are not keeping the true sovereignty, but they are speaking about the sovereignty. They need to be informed about the true definition of the sovereignty, if they accept or not. And as I said a little bit before, many leaders, you'll discover that many leaders on the freedom movement, they will do not accept. They will recognize the definition, but by the end, by their action, they do not accept, because they want to keep a position inside of the system to control others. Even that they will understand that it is all about the control, they'll be doing that because of their ego. When the ego is very high, it was somebody that said when the ego it's very high on this direction, the spirituality level it's low. So this is all about. Then the people needs to see the direction is not good. When the direction is not good because they do not share the true sovereignty definition, they do not respect universal laws, this is harm to the people. So this is why the protests are not working. And this is, we have also in Alberta independence movement. The independence of what? Of everything that is bad. At the same time, we have right now Trump started to get out from the United States from 66, the number of 66 treaties, international treaties. But at the same time, in the United States, they develop an app that centralize all the information for everyone. Then basically anyone that will be working on the system as does not matter what, they may be informed quickly about everything that it is in the file. also about your money and everything. So there will be some level to for the access inside of the software, and but at the same time, people working in the government, they may have access to a lot of information about you. And about Jasara and Sarah, we spoke about a lot about the software, because the software has inside planted that they develop had inside planted like rules to recognize borders where the borders mean control, and at the same time, if they go so far, is just to remember about the digital ID. So what will be, how can I say, the difference between the digital ID and this app that centralize everything? Because by the end will be an AI that can control your expensive. So when I'm saying control your expensive, it's not tracking like you have on the Amazon that you can see all the orders that they can make your profile. So this is already done. But they will have an AI that will let you to pass a transaction, yes or not. So you are not free to buy everything. When I spoke with somebody from the White Hats, they told me they will do not let you, for example, to buy gun. Okay, so this will be part of the control inside of their software. And I said, okay, or if you have an open file with the government or something like, they will do not let you to enter in the United States. So just a little bit to understand, FBI or other kind of government institution, the people from there, they can open any time a file or say something against you. Then after that, you have no the right to travel. It is extremely important for the people to understand that the money have to be controlled by the people, not by the few inside of the White Hats. Yes, Rick.
Oh, great. Thank you, sister. One thing I just wanted to touch on, this is also connected to what we were speaking about with the protests demonstration. Um, just to let everyone know, an very interesting thing, but it's an indication of the implosion of the current political arena worldwide, and of course, setting up for GPMS. But we're still working in Austria on putting and interjecting the higher law in there. And currently, we're at an important um, place in our strategy that we need to inform all of the political parties in Austria. So one may just think, all right, how many political parties are in Austria? Well, you might think perhaps maybe a dozen, but to get right to the point, there's over 1,300, 1,300 political parties registered in Austria. Now, when you look at this, what this means is that this is how fragmented the consciousness is, with 1,300 just in Austria, different belief narratives. This is the separation tactics of the beast system. But where you see it is so extensive, it is chaos. So it is at the final point is the uh, important message with this, but it shows the fragmentation. It cannot go any further. How can you have a country operating with 1,300 different beliefs on how to operate it? It's absolutely foolish and ridiculous. But this is very good because it cannot go much further. And with GPMS, of course, we bring everyone together with the one common goal to do what is right for humanity. So the decision making in the divine GPMS world, it is on a full consensus or unanimous basis by those that are administrating. So there is no conflict, no competition. Um, Everything is provided for in this new world, which means no one needs to compete and they don't need to argue about everything because money or the lack of it is no longer limited. And money has been the deciding huge limiting factor in decision making in the past world, in the capitalistic system, in the current system. So by taking money out of the decision making, this is very important. What it does then is that there is no argument, there is no competition, there is no conflict because humanity has all of the money it needs unlimitedly to instantly provide for every situation worldwide. So it is not a matter of decision whether we do this, for example, for humanity or not. It's just, yes, we're doing it. It serves all of humanity, and here's the unlimited funds and access to resources to do this for the full benefit of humanity. And with this, where money is no longer a deciding factor in the process of decision making, then this is where humanity advances into civility and out of this current savage beast system, which is beyond any rationale or any reasoning. And of course, it is not, this current beast system is not common sense. It is not sense. It is actually nonsensical. So it's the inversion of common sense meant to destroy and control humanity and all of its protocols and its practices. However, there is the new child on the block. I won't use the old the old name of the song, but there's a new child on the block, and that is a new one in town, and that is Divine-gpms.world, which does all the beautiful things that Brother Jonathan was saying. No more underdogs, no more bullies, everyone share and do what is right. So there will not be any reason for anyone to need to stand up for another because all will be and are, well, they are now of equal value. So, very simply, by taking money out of the equation as it is limited and controlled money by a few, we give the full unlimited money to everyone equally, all problems solved instantly. Immigration, poverty, sickness, you name it. So again, it's who in the right mind, even if they're not educated, who would not choose divine GPMS? It's more than the lifetime lottery. It is your universal infinite existence. So it's beyond the lifetime for all of the generations to come. Who would not choose that for their children, for themselves, for their grandchildren, for all the families on earth? How happy would each one be at seeing all of the children happy, free, and abundant, not crying for food, no hardship, don't have to be enslaved in a school system for 18 years and then be enslaved into a beast system for the rest of their life. Divine-gpms.world right now is the greatest gift every time that someone shares it with another and they consent, it's the most valuable gift ever known to mankind because it is their full deliverance, it is their full emancipation out of this present ridiculous enslavement beast capitalistic system. So who wouldn't choose it? If they don't choose it, there is something psychologically very, very wrong. And what we will see is that the majority will choose it. And the sooner that they do this, the quicker we save lives. So those 35,000 dying each day now because of hunger, which is absolutely ridiculous, none of them die. So the ones that don't choose divine GPMS and that hesitate, they need to look at what they're doing, what they're supporting, a system that is continuously killing and harming ones, or divine GPMS that relishes and embellishes all life and all of the comfort and all of the goodness. It's a no-brainer choice. Thank you.
Yes, Jonathan.
No, I was just wanted to touch base on when you were saying about the Freemasons. 'Cause I'm going to be delicate how where I start to phrase this, but I understand that the organization started many hundreds of years ago and actually was a honorable foundation before it got hijacked, just like the Knights Templars and many, 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 many others. I had met a few people that were in it. And then I was offered a place in that community. And when I met a certain gentleman and his unscrupulous practices in business and other dealings, I quickly could understand that that movement can't be what it was described to me to be, even at the lowest level, because that person who was in it was not very, and also was a very low member, wasn't very honorable. So nothing. I just wanted to add, I didn't really want to dive into it, but there's a person by the name of Jordan Maxwell, who's no longer with us, who actually did a very deep dive into it in case anybody is interested in the Masonic orders. And he dissects it quite well, including the symbols that they use and where the symbols come from, et cetera, et cetera. But that's all. I didn't know where you were going with it. That's why I put my hand down.
Yeah, so after years and years, after I hear a lot of videos and also people, some of them, they are involved with Freemason and everything, but I'm not saying they're bad or good. I'm saying this is a trap. This was a huge trap. And when they realize these people that they had the power inside of the system, they fear. So it is also the fear that is keeping them there. Fear do not experience this kind of stuff on their family or something like just I'm member of the Freemason. Don't do that on me because I'm member to you. It's like so it's a sort of the pyramid part of the system. What I'm saying for the people with soul, because we have the darkness presence with soulless people. What I'm saying for the people with soul, they are not able to get out from there yet. because the darkness is coming after them, and is coming very hard after them to kill them, especially if they are going a little bit on the top. But at the same time, start to recognize the real God on their heart. This is the first step. And do not enforce the law when you are already on the, how can I say, on the government structure. Do not enforce the actual law on the people how much you can. Don't do the job. Because when you enforce the law on the people, you harm the people, because the actual law is the common law. It is against the people. It is artificial law. And something else, because especially there is a huge pressure on the government. This is part of the immigration protest that you saw a little bit about. So there is not a true immigration. Part of the immigration that have soul, but many that have no soul. These borders and immigration was used, the term of the immigration was used for the soulless people to be able to have, to pass through the border and to have real documents, real as the system documents on their hand when they go up on the surface of the earth. And basically they are saying, I'm immigrant, do not share too much or do not be involved too much, to recognize them as immigrant because they have not a past, but they are saying I'm coming from that country and they have some information from that country, but in reality they are soulless people, and they need to go on the structure of the pyramid system to keep some political parties and to be able to run the actual laws against the people. So this is the reason. So this is not true immigration. When they fear the immigration, and they need to, the people need to know first about the soulless people, the presence of the evil on earth. Then they will understand it's nothing about the immigration. When I shared the message yesterday, door to door and also on the street, the people agree that the peace is coming when the people have the peace on their heart, when the abundance is created in a correct system worldwide. So if the people agree on that, the people agree with GPMS. I do not know if they are going towards the website to make their consents to happen, or if they are still keeping their cards or not, but at the same time, they agree with that. When they agree with that, they agree with GPMS system. And if we are speaking about people with soul and people with no soul, they will understand much more than the real harm. It's coming from the people with no soul, that they have AI program, and also from the people with soul that they are in fear because of their fear of others and everything. So when the people ascend, the fear, it's coming less down. So I experienced also the fear, as I said, when I was on the map on Google and I discovered public location. I experienced fear on the street, and after that I said, okay, but it is the same street, you know. So what it is the difference? Because right now I know about the Freemason, but I had the Freemason around all the time probably, and I had no idea that they are Freemasons. So it's like fearless and move forward and try to understand the people. So to save the soul is basically to let the darkness with no people. So the people that they have the soul to get rid, to be able to detach from the darkness and come with the true God. This will be a key, and also GPMS secure that, because your consent is free. It's not shown, everything that it is shown, it's only a detail like for example, your name, but not complete name. If you wish, and you can make, it's not about the signature, you can make like a heart or something, like you just post, I can say, for example, could be 100 Beatrice born in Romania, so nobody will know if one from Romania is saying I'm Beatrice born in Romania. So just you can participate, not showing your face, participate with your heart, and also give the consent and start to speak about GPMS with who you may believe that may be worth to come with GPMS. And this is all about. So this is the way to detach from the darkness. Step forward. So move forward, because it's not about it's not about judgment. It is not about what you did on the past. The past is the past, when you were not ashamed, when the darkness was in power and everything. Right now, start to detach and also heal yourself and everything. So GPMS, it is also about the healing of the soul, and start to make good. When you start to make good, and also you participate to gather consent, you are working for humanity. This is benevolent for humanity. When you are working with all your heart for humanity, this will change the past. So because we can change the past, so this will create another energy, another reality. Then you are cell advance. So then you will experience something else. So let everything that it is from the darkness down and come with GPMS, because this is the way. A little bit on the benefits of GPMS, just to share. Free housing. So I was yesterday in a good part of Edmonton. Really, I do not like. I want more for the people. I want more nature around the houses. I would like for the people to experience more artificial, advanced, good artificial intelligence, and to work less hour and do not have this pressure of the system on them and everything. And I like something else, and this pushed me to speak with the people, and I really want to be able to gather more consents then, and also especially to have more guardians and representative for GPMS in Canada. Then we are able to go in the correct direction as humanity. So I would like to say there are a lot of benefits, and to share a little bit about houses. GPMS is coming with free enough big organic houses. Will be your choice. You'll have a catalog on your hand. If you do not like the model, you can create one. Will be architects and everything behind that will help you to support your model. Then the model will be also inserted on the catalog, so the people will have more and more choices. The housing will be about natural products as hempcrete and other bamboo and other quality materials that do not harm you, as we have today the pink insulation and drywall and other kind of stuff that is very harmful. So it is coming with a lot of comfort when you have children. You do not need to pay life insurance, a lot of insurance for the house, a lot of to put the money for the school, or because the university is expensive and everything. Nothing like that. So you can have 5 or 10 children if you want. This is not a cap on the number of the children, and the child is recognized to the first minutes when it is in the mother womb. So the pregnant woman will start to receive the money for the child, and will be enough, because it is about the power of buying. It is about the unlimited power. It is about our intrinsic value inside of the financial system of GPMS. It is about the dollar of GPMS, and everything for the children is absolutely covered. So when your child will be 18 years old or 18 years old or something like, you do not need to care that has not a house, that you have to support your child for a house, nothing like that. We receive a house for free. Could be student. The type of the education will be not necessarily based on diploma, because will be a lot of good artificial intelligence, and this good artificial intelligence that you need to work with and will be part of your environment, daily environment. You need to access that and to know how it is working. So basically you'll have specialization after small specialization, and there will be free education for everyone. to support that. I saw yesterday, I believe, yeah, via the internet right now, how uh, it was probably white hats that presented a video like Elon Musk. I don't think it was the real Elon Musk speaking, but anyway, they supported the idea that in 20 years from now, there will be no necessary to have a pension fund. This idea is a little bit a copy paste from the universal laws. In reality, you do not need a pension fund, so you do not need to care that you will need a pension fund. There are two elements here. One, it is about the life expectancy on Earth that will be hundreds of years or thousands of years, depending if you choose to use the good artificial intelligence and also cell regeneration or not. But also is to get rid of the toxicity and everything. Some with very advanced on spiritual beings, they will be on light body. So it is about a lot to develop on this way. And second, you do not need to put the money for the pension because there is no pension necessary. You are supported by the system all the time. Until we'll have no even financial system, because we do not need the money to live on Earth, and we can thrive with no financial system at all. This was a little bit, the concept was a little bit described on that video. There are also some approach from the universal law, some copy paste, and the video also describe a little bit that basically the humanity will have access to a lot of resources and everything that they need all the time. So this is true. This will be the true system, universal law true system. So you do not need pension fund. They said in 20 years from now, I am saying if you choose GPMS today, we can make GPMS for real in 1 month to start. And I'm saying after probably 1 year or something, like we can get from the financial system to no financial system, then we experience no necessary for the pension fund. So it is a lot. So the children are secure. You do not need, so this is stress involved. When you care about the pension fund, when you care about housing, insurance, when you care about a lot of stuff that is not provided by the system or is provided how it is provided via mortgages and everything, this is about stress. Eliminating stress, this make your life better and your life expectancy on Earth for thousands of years and everything. So going in correct direction means no stress. So eliminating stress, this is GPMS system. Yes, Rick.
Thank you, Beatrice. What I suggest for anyone, like you just mentioned, some sort of a video for 20 years. So what they're actually doing, this is part of the darkness to attempt to extend their reality. So what I suggest for anyone, don't watch these things. Just get aligned with divine GPMS and keep the focus there. These other narratives are put out there to distract ones and to control you. But if you're also watching them, there is the subliminal effect on the consciousness that lowers the vibration as well. And this is what we're saying, what Brother Jonathan said, where your focus goes, your energy goes. So you might be watching a Musk video speaking about 20 minutes into or 20 years into the future, even though you may not resonate with what it's saying, it's subjectively programming your consciousness, which lowers your vibration as well. So, what I need to say, which is the higher truth, is for once, don't even be looking at that. If you don't need to, if you're up already that you know what you're doing, you don't need to look at that subliminal, subjective, psychological programming. Because again, if you're looking at it and you're a higher divine one, you're also projecting an energetic into it as well, which keeping it alive. So the higher divine guidance is don't energize those type of things. If you are in a position that you know you want the heaven on earth scenario, keep in alignment with that. If you need more information, keep researching and reading about that, about this, what's happening now, not some false narrative that is trying to extend your suffering 20 years into the future. That is absolutely psychopathic and insane what they are doing, and don't fall for these sort of things. Having said that, we're getting quite long, sister. Does anyone, Sister Lodi, or anyone else have any updates? If we're ready for that, if you're done speaking, Sister Petrus, just a suggestion.
Yeah, just to mention a little bit, when I said about the 20 years, I corrected that they try to copy GPMS, they try to copy the universal laws. And I said GPMS can start in 1 week. And for the people that they have no enough pension fund and they are stressed about, because many are stressed about that, GPMS, it is the solution, can share the fund, the money in 24 hours after the consents are gathered. So please come with us, become representative, then we are able to start. And 1 year after the GPMS starts, we can pass on no financial system at all. So nobody may care about pension funds. So get out from this stress, because this stress with keeping inflation up and does not resonate with universal laws, and the clear way it is GPMS. Yes, with Lodi, we will have also monthly meeting GPMS on Wednesday. So Lodi, can we have an update from Philippines? Thank you.
Yes, I will request the link by tomorrow for the monthly meeting for the Philippines GPMS Guardians. And also, I would just like to share that I had just sent to Sister Nya about 6,000 names for to be imported to the website. So it will be checked for duplicates if ever. So we will see if how many of those names will be registered on the website. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lodi. Just I had some texted with Maxine, and when I shared the message that in Philippines, the people are also looking for a community, because they started to gather many on the same way for GPMS. She was very, very happy. So this influenced a lot of other guardians and representative all over the world. Your work is very, very important. Thank you so much. And also all other people from as a representative from Philippines. As we have here with us, we have Josefina Rodriguez, we have Aselma BI, even that they are not speaking, and also Eva Mikosa for Kadila, even that they are not speaking, they are working for GPMS. So, and they participate especially on the weekly meeting of Philippines, because there it's a translation, and they can speak on their language. What are the news from the Germany, Agnes?
Actual news is I was sharing the cards, and I had a conversation with homeless people, and I wanted to ask maybe also Sister Lodi. They told me they don't have email or telephone, so they could make a list. I could make it for them. But how is the process for people which don't have telephone and not an email address, and I get the names. How can I put it to the GPMS? That would be my question. And I had a positive, very nice conversation with people from all over the world. So I'm in Berlin, so it's yeah, all of them was very positive, and also taught about the stories about the job, about, for example, yeah, splitting families in countries, how difficult it is. And so I can say, yes, there are a lot of people which are open for this. So I share the card. They say, I will look, I will sign. And yeah, but the question what I had is how can we get people which have no possibilities to like phone and email to get them on GPMS. That was, thank you.
Thank you so much. And Ernest from Brazil. Sorry, Everson. You are mute. Please unmute you.
I got two friends that consent in the site, and I was a little apprehensive about their consent because I was trying to convince them, and I'm not sure if they could realize what comprehends the divine plan. But I thinking later, I think that it was good for them, even if they don't know completely the divine plan. But two friends gave the consent.
Yes, Rick.
Perfect. I saw at least one consent from Brazil come in, Brother Everson. So yes, thank you. Sister Agnes brought up a very important subject again, and I wish to answer that. And she did have the question for Sister Lodi in the Philippines. However, I'll generically answer this, and also anyone watching this and any guardian representative of GPMS. What we have is Excel sheets, if you will, or you can also you print off, and we have it, and I believe it's accessed on our representative Telegram group. And if ones can't find it, please contact Sister Lodi, or Nya, or put a question in the Telegram group. Now, what you want is just a template that you just record. Let's say, and this is where it's idea. Brother Jonathan, are you still with us before I say this?
Yes, I am.
Great, brother. All right, because I'm going to speak now. I'm going to use, for example, tent cities in Canada and the US. And when I speak about tent cities, many of these homeless people, they do not have phones or access to the internet, if you will. So having said this, a good divine GPMS Samaritan, if you will, can go out to these homeless people, and you have a sheet that you record their name, and you don't, if they don't have a phone or an email address, you can use your own. But you go out, you get a sheet, And if they agree that they want this new world, then they can give you their name. We use the date of birth and, of course, the rest of the information if they're in Toronto, well, just Toronto, Canada. But the importance of this is that, yes, ones can go out to these homeless people everywhere and they can gather their consent. I'll use you, Jonathan, brother, just as an example. Brother Jonathan can just have a sheet go out to these tent cities and say to these homeless people, do you want this world, this new world? And you can just explain it. And if they say yes, and they wish to add their agreement, which is their consent, which is their accord, which is also their vote, then they can. And it's a proxy vote. So, like, Jonathan would be their proxy, if you will, if ones understand what I'm saying, that then they have where they gave their consent for Jonathan to put their consent in, then Jonathan has the lawful proxy to come back and be that and record their consents for them. Now, not only is this important to do so for all of our homeless brothers and sisters, but very importantly, there is the energetic attachment with this, which is so important as well. Because once this is done by, let's say, homeless people, they become part of divine GPMS because they want to from their heart. It also begins to affect their life and their timeline, meaning that, just as an example, we're dealing with miraculous creation energy here. So when a homeless one consents and you go and consent for a homeless one, it has the energetic effect on their life, meaning that miraculously, that all of a sudden someone will come and say, do you want a job? Do you need a place to live temporarily? Do you need some food? Because divine GPMS is miraculous as well. So it's much more deeper than just what it looks at on the surface. It has the energetic effects when a homeless soul chooses to be aligned with the new world. Then this homeless soul begins to attract a degree of abundance to support them until we get there as well. So it's very important for anyone that also, wishes to do this. You can just get a simple template, or you can make it up yourself. Ones do this. You just go and open up the consent on GPMS and just see what information that you need from the individual. And really, it's just their name, their date of birth, their city, nearest city or country that they live in. And when you fill out their consent, in the box, you can just put a check mark in. So you can come back with 20 consents in a day from homeless people, and you just fill it out for them. And it only takes 2 to 3 minutes to fill out a consent, and you just put a check mark in the box for them because you are their proxy. And also on the large scale, with what Sister Lodi is doing, we're having tribes that are coming in to GPMS. We even had a small tribe, I think Sister Nya said, a small tribal nation of indigenous ones from the Philippines, I think had 10 members or what have you. But in these situations where you have with the indigenous peoples, let's take Canada, when you have a designated chief to speak for his or her people, they can also take the full nation if it's 2,000 Cree, if you will, woodlands Cree in the nation. This chief can just ask all of them or just put out a memorandum or what have you, just saying if they all agree and if they give their proxy vote for the chief to do so, but also if the chief already has it, because the chief has been elected. So the chief can just say, here's 2,000, here's our nation, add the full nation now to GPMS. And with these full nations, they're added in about 3 minutes or so. It doesn't take very long to do this as well. So importantly, ones as well in the US and Canada, but not only there, all around the world, to any homeless ones living on the street, if they want to choose this, uh, you can make it clear just to say it's a worldwide vote, it's a worldwide referendum as well. And every individual has the right to um, sign or consent with this or to give their proxy to another to consent for them. So, with contracts, if you will, with law, a verbal yes is a consent. So they just say yes, and that means yes, they consent with it. You don't need anything else. You don't need anything written up. A verbal consent is the same as a written consent. It is a consent to do so. And in contract law, a verbal consent is an agreement. Sometimes you have handshake, but in the simplest contract law, when you ask someone a question, if they say yes or no, that is an actual contract as well. It is an agreement or a disagreement with it. So if it's a disagreement, then there is no contract. But if there is agreement, one says, yes, please put my consent in. If they say that, that is a contract and it is a lawful contract and agreement of expression and wishes and what have you, without me going deeper into it. So ones, if you're wondering what to do and if you got time on your hands as well, go right to the homeless people. Those are the ones that have been suffering, a lot. And yeah, they would most likely more quickly answer this. And also, Sister Beatrice, I think all around the world, but perhaps around Edmonton and Calgary, there's probably tent cities and homeless peoples there. So this is where you want to go, to the hostels, on the streets, the soup kitchens, if you will. Even though there's charities that provide the soup kitchens, hey, go and start speaking to the ones that are coming to the soup kitchens, the ones that are coming to the food banks. And these are common throughout the Americas. So if you want to do something, go and relate and connect with the people that are there at these food banks and soup kitchens and laying on the streets in cardboard boxes, if you will. So anyone can do this, any representative of GPMS, each represent every member of GPMS can do this, what I just said. You don't need to be a guardian or a representative like this. If you're watching this and you're already a member of GPMS, you can do the Good Samaritan thing by just doing this. It's simple. And it's so. Thank you for bringing that up, Sister Agnes. That was so important, and thank you.
I have also a question, and at the same time, I was looking on the comments. There are comments like "Hello, love you, love and light." No question. My question is, when we have recognized representative and guardians of GPMS, why we still need to write down? Because anyway, they have no email. We can use our email and we can register them directly on the cell phone. Via the cell phone on the
Yeah, yes, exactly. And thank you. That's so important too, sister. So, yeah, I was looking at places that didn't have internet, what we've done in the past, like in Uganda and perhaps in the Philippines where you had to go out where there was no internet. But where you have internet, let's use like Edmonton, Calgary, all over pretty much North America, if you will, you've got access to internet. So yes, take your phone out, and what you can do is you meet someone right there in the moment. If they agree, you can consent for them right on your phone. Yeah, within 3 minutes,
Yes, and
2 to 3 minutes. So
yes, and also the people can take a very short video during the discussion time when they agree. Just a video that the other one agree, it's less than 1 minute, and store on your computer. Then you can show this one told me this information later if you are question about, and use an email that it belongs to you, and just to insert the name there. Yes, Agnes.
you can if you wish, but you don't need to keep it, if you will, that complicated. But if you wish to, you can just take a short uh, video of each one. But what I said, just by them saying yes, is the verbal contract that you don't need to prove it by a video, but you can do it if you wish. That is your choice, but you don't need to complicate it with this. And part of the reasoning, yes, we do have a certain what's the word? We do have a certain procedure, but we don't overcomplicate things, because what's going to occur is that you're going to have the mass agreement anyway. And within GPMS, we also have provisioned for any errors of consents up to about 20%. And what this means is that you don't need to be so particular, be in your full integrity and honesty. And the reasoning why GPMS is for the whole world. And if you look at 20%, if you will, of 8 billion people, you're actually looking at 1.6 billion. And what this means, again, without me going through all of the math, and to keep it simple, we've allowed for a 20% margin error. It doesn't affect the outcome. And this is a huge number, because it doesn't, when you have, it will go viral, because it's common sense that all of the human souls will choose it. However many human souls are left until we get there, but it's very soon. Um, but getting back to the point I was going to make, you can do this, but it's your choice. I suggest to keep it as simple as possible. Our voting system and our program with that, it distinguishes duplicates, and it's what is the word? It is structured very lawful to detect any widespread abuse, but there is no widespread abuse. But if the margin of error, typically in any past voting system that is genuine, the margin of error was always allowable. perhaps 5 to 10%. But what I'm saying with GPMS, the margin of error allowable is so much greater because it's going to be the majority of the population, which is 51%. We're not going for a full consensus. So, what this means, your margin of error with this can be typically 49% in reality, but we won't have that. But to get the point across, and our system detects abuse or duplicates, if you will, to any degree. So I just wish to keep that clear. Sister Agnes has a question, I believe.
Not really question. I wanted to add something about the cards that I always add that everyone who consent, because the people often said I will read it later, and I ask I said to them that if you love it and you consent, please share it with others. So that's not only my part to share it, but that's not a secret. So everyone can share it in social media, on every social media, per email the link, or copy the card, or make a picture of it. And so it's not like it's my and I have it, I am in. No, share it with everyone in your family, your friends, and put it. So everyone has the possibility and responsibility or in a position to share it and to make it grow. So not me, but everyone who consents also are in this position, what you said, everyone can share it. That's what I want to share. Even to the people today which are homeless. We have minus degrees at the moment here, and they're living under the bridge. And I said to them, please talk about it. Even so, what you also said, just they know the name, and if it comes, they even hear about it, and share it. And the one also said he will go to a friend, which is internet, but that's everyone can share it. So it doesn't matter where you live, where you are, or who you are. And so that's for me a very important part, which I also give the people when I share it. Thank you very much.
And also in Canada, in the United States, for the people to get out from the stress, choose divine-gpms.world, because it's a lot of stress in these two areas recognized today as country, but they are fake countries, about the rent, mortgage, house value, and also pension fund. And it is a sort of compliance with the actual system and a fear about the future artificial intelligence working on this way, because the people may remain homeless anytime or they arrive like 65 years old and they have not yet a house paid, not yet the $500,000 on the pension fund. So basically the food cannot be provided. So it's not assured that they have where to live and what to eat. These are essential. These things are essential. With GPMS, there is no rent, no mortgage to be paid. The house is provided, is for free, and also there is no necessary for the pension fund. So come with GPMS today. Please consent. We do not, as Rick mentioned, we do not need the 20 years. As I said also before, and Rick said too, we detach from the system with divine-gpms.org. This is recognized universal laws and God, that it is the true God of everything, that it is good. Then we turn towards God and we are helped finally to have a correct financial system. Then we do not need to rely on the actual money, and we do not need to be stressed about money, material, and other kind of things. we can turn towards the spirituality and pay attention of everything, like the planet, also all the nature, animals, and all livings on Earth, not only humans, but we'll care a lot about humans in the first time until the humans have everything that it is necessary to thrive, not to live, to thrive. Yes, Rick.
Yeah, I just wish to mention too, I just did some quick research, but these statistics are, I think, from 2024 for Canada and the US. They're outdated, uh, and these numbers are much greater because of the unprecedented inflation in North America, but also worldwide. Uh, just a quick look at 235,000 homeless in Canada was the number. 771,000 homeless in the US. This was a few years ago, but the knowledge and the information I have in the US, so many more have had to, and also Canada, have had to downsize, leave their houses, and also began to get a camper and tents and what have you, because they could not afford the rent. So the actual numbers is much greater than what I am saying, but this is very important. Mostly these ones that are on the very lowest of the extreme poverty, they will stay around the cities because they need to survive. Around the cities, there's more chance for them to get a crumb of food or some money from panhandling or what have you. So, with anyone gathering consents, the cities are the places to get the homeless ones, but also the homeless ones with the word on the street to share it, tell them if, for example, if it's I in Toronto and I go to one homeless place and I began to collect consents, what I would say to these now, others on the street, if you will, get the word out. Tell them to recognize I, and when they see I, come and give their consents because this is their vote, their worldwide vote that ends all of their suffering. So the numbers are huge, and any Samaritans that are doing this go to the cities. That's where you have the biggest percentage of the homeless brothers and sisters that you can quickly get as many of them as the ones that wish to experience this. So good. I'm done. Thank you.
Yes, Agnes.
Yes, one thing which also one of them said is he is looking for a job and hope to find one. So what I also see that there are so many potential and talents of people which are living on a street, which can be when the people also are then healthy and have no problem with money. They can put this to this talents and the unity of our communities. So even this to see that the people will walk and share what they have to give, what they learned, and they even don't have the possibility. So that's which surprised me because he said he will walk. So there's so many people which want to share their gifts, what they have, what they can. And I hope that is very soon that it changed, and the picture of a city will be healthy and beautiful, and everyone has nice home, and we have beautiful foods and all these things. So this what I want to add with the people want. They want share, and they are not just sitting there, and that shows how the system works, how it stops it, and yeah, we will share it. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Agnes. So there will be no problem to look for the job with divine-gpms.world. Everyone can participate on the administration or the worldwide community. Everyone will have some hours per week to work for GPMS, and everyone will have money until we'll have no need to have the money because there will be no financial system anymore. So there will be no scarcity. The people will experience on everything that they buy and servicing only high quality. This is GPMS, and this is universal law. So we deserve that. We are everyone that has a soul on earth or living creature will experience everything that it is good. So the quality is also attached to the servicing and the goods. So we are already on 2 hours and a half. I want all the time to see more information about India, but our brother Aziz has a language barrier, and the one speaking English is not coming on our weekly meetings yet, appear only on one Philippine monthly meeting. I hope she'll be back soon. We need India to start again to look for GPMS consents. This is very important, especially for the Indians that they are living in a small area, limited by borders, and have no access to the resources. And those that they are thinking they can make a great life only selling the resources of Canada to others in the world. I just let them know this is not aligned with universal laws, and this is not the way to get out from the poverty. The true way to end the poverty and the slavery worldwide, and I mentioned worldwide, it is divine-gpms.org. If someone wants to add something for today, we are already on 2 hours and a half, almost. If not, I would say thank you so much for everyone that participates on the meeting. Our weekly meetings are important to share GPMS benefits and also GPMS, what it is GPMS, and for all the people to understand and to remember divine laws and everything. This is a working in progress. We hope that many people will choose the path to become GPMS guardians and representative. We are here, I'm not saying to attract others, but we are first here to work on our divine mission. It is all about benevolent, and please share GPMS how much you can also on media, and go to the events if you can, and tell the people this is not the correct direction, and also go door to door in the street, in the parks, and do everything that you can. And based on your creation, how you can meet people and share the message, but just share GPMS. And then this waiting time will end and the suffering will finally end. Thank you so much for everyone that see the video and also share the video. So Rika, I believe that you may need to end the meeting on your Facebook because you share. We are live broadcasts via Rick Jeweler's Facebook too.
Oh, just if I may, sister, just on closing, this just come in, and I'll use Venezuela, Greenland, and all of Africa. Because of geopolitics and the capitalistic system, And Brazil, all included here, Brother Everson, and really all of South America with the extensive extrinsic resources and the value of that, but also with Africa, all of the resources that were pillaged by the capitalistic system. The great news for all of you worldwide, you don't need these resources. They have no value in Divine-gpms.world because you are the absolute value. So you have your full sovereignty, your full autonomy, and your full value back that cannot be robbed from you by these geopolitical mongrels and what have you. So it's important for everyone to know that all of your resources really are yourself, and this cannot be taken against you. But what you have recently seen with Venezuela and Greenland is geopolitical moves by the darkness itself to accumulate wealth and resources for a capitalistic political world. It has nothing, it is the opposite of your freedom. It has nothing to do with abundance and sovereignty. It has everything to do with greed and capitalism towards making America great again in the immoral capitalistic world. I need to bring this up. You are not enslaved. You are actually freed by Divine-gpms.world, and nothing stops this. So, yes, even though your resources were fought over, were pillaged from you, they can never take your ultimate source of value, which is yourself, and your intrinsic value, which is unlimited and joined with all of your brothers and sisters in whatever nation or country that you are in. Also, with Venezuela, not fully confirmed yet, but there was a very serious warfare technology that was used upon the people. And what I will say is that there was over 100 deaths, but because of the intensity of this technical warfare that was used, it's quite possible that many in Caracas will continue to experience very serious symptoms. And what I do also need to say is that there is divine intervention at ensuring that these things do not continue. So it's very important that the people understand what the
Ah,
propaganda is that they're fed and to not play into
Mahim na
these
unavailable.
things.
Oh, actually,
So again, it's very important. We know everything what's occurring and we watch and observe what the darkness does, but at the same time, it's important for everyone to focus on the light and end this insanity and harm upon human dignity, their sovereignty, and their worth. So with that, I'm finished. Should we end the meeting, sister?
Yes, for sure. Just to remember to the people that Maduro was able to be captured a long time ago, but nothing happened. Right now, it is high price promise on gold and silver for those that they have some position on. So this is about the speculation and everything. It's about the money. And a lot of the white hats people and other people, they have a pension fund on gold and silver and everything. So this is about the pension fund. And also,
It was not, sister, yeah, it's about the vast resources that Venezuela has, yes,
yes,
oil and
exactly. It
gas,
is all about the
but but
resources.
but more importantly, it's about the cobalt, which is
Ah,
very
okay.
important to
The cobalt.
technology as well. So it's and the fresh water supply. as well. So these are geopolitical factors, what one's wish. And when you look at Greenland as well, it's the same thing, the vast resources, but importantly, the vast fresh water.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
because was never about to save the people and the planet.
no,
It's
no,
all
no,
about
no, no. It's preposterous when you look at the U.S. with its intense borders, if you will, and the narco false narrative at keeping narcotics out of the U.S. It's absolutely absurd with their border. So it's obvious that their border patrols, if you will, are part of the crime. So the problem is not with the outside, the problem is with the US itself and the customs officers and at the borders, if you will. So it's not, this is about the illusion. It's not about the narcotics at all. So it's when you begin to see that it doesn't make sense, that you're able to see the bigger picture of what is actually occurring. And again, when you look at Afghanistan and with the poppy, and when you look at Colombia and also Peru, but also Argentina, when you begin to look at more of these things, you can see the drug trade worldwide and the drug trafficking, how really it's supported. When you look at the intense technology that, let's say, the US has, but let's use this with their satellite abilities, what they can do with their satellite ability, they can zoom right into you exactly, tell you what's on your plate and what you're eating. So with this type of technology in a reasonable, lawful world, crime would not exist. But where it's so um, extensive, it shows you that who is actually part of these crimes and why it does exist. And what I'm speaking about here is that there's been much documentation, and I think the US even says it publicly itself, how the CIA from the US was involved in all this drug trafficking. And again, we'll jump to Afghanistan with the poppy um, fields, if you will. It's about the poppy seeds and about the opium and the controlling these sort of drugs, if you will. And what you'll also find is if you do your research, you'll see ex-military that tells you the truth of these stories. Also, with the US presence in Iraq and these other countries, these these souls that were in the military suffering with PTSD, also in the Vietnam War, they'll tell you what the prime directive of the US was, and that is no regard for mothers or children or civilians. They were actually killed as part of what they were doing. So there is no justification of any American movements outside of the world. It's always the same. It's to create war and to harm ones. And with Israel, for example, $23 billion given to Israel from the US to buy tanks, military equipment, artillery. And at the same time, with Palestine, the US will give a little bit of money to them. And when you look at Palestine, with 75% of Palestine being women and children, look at what they're doing. The US supports and arms Israel to attack a country just because 15 to 3,000 out of Palestine, a rebel army, attacked Israel. Israel comes in and kills and harms tens of thousands of innocent children and women. This is sick. It's psychopathic. It's capitalistic. It's evil. It is the deep state. It's everything all in one. For example, where the US was able to give billions of dollars to Israel for arms, it could have give half of that to Palestine, and there would not have been any conflict whatsoever, because there would have been no reason for these ones to fight. And also, where it's only 1,500 to 3,000 militia or rebels, not even militia, that tried to fight for Palestine, for that liberation, instead of Israel doing something with what might have been, let's say, rebels, which they weren't, they attacked the entire um, area and devastated it. These are not souls. These are not good people. They are actually evil ones to do these sort of things. So again, it's worldwide, time and time again, this has been shown. And for ones to support white hats or military or something like this is the Antichrist. It's the opposite of God. Look at what they're doing. And I see your hand up, Brother Jonathan, but one more thing I wish to say, which is very important. At the New Year's party of Trump on January the 1st, what they did was got one to come in to paint a picture of Jesus, and they auctioned that picture off for charity at 2 decimal, I think 7.3 million or 7.5, less than 3 million. So what the Trump did is, all right, 2 million or almost 3 million will give to a charity. At the same time, hundreds of millions of dollars was given to the military to go in to get Maduro. So two insults here. Insults, three actually. The taxpayers were actually funding a war with their money. And also, the insult was on the homeless people by giving them 2 decimal, wherever the charity went, giving, let's say, the homeless people and the charities, giving them 3 million, while hundreds of millions of dollars was spent on targeting Venezuela. Now, also, the insult to the Christ, and this is very important, with the picture of the Christ was auctioned off for less than 3 million. This was their satanic ceremonial thing to show you. He wanted 3 million for the Christ photo for charity. 3 million represents the 30 shillings that Judas betrayed Jesus for. But the insult in this time, it was all staged, that Jesus was not even worth 30 shillings, was not even worth 3 million, that they sold Jesus, the capitalistic system, for less than that. And then shortly after goes in and attacks the human dignity and the sovereignty of the Venezuelan people. So, with this, it was very dark, but it was very insulting, not only to the American people, to the taxpayers, but also for all of the homeless people. And as I just shared earlier, with 770,000 homeless ones in the US, a few years, that number has greatly grown, where the US sends billions of dollars to the Ukraine and to the Israel, to, let's say, their military actions, all of this money that could have very easily prevented poverty in the US. So the overall point is no, it's not about eradicating poverty. It's about politics, power, greed, and all of these other things that are anti-Christ. They're not in alignment with Christ. They're an insult to Christianity blatantly at saying a war or let's say a military operation in Venezuela is worth hundreds of millions, where charity is worth less than 3 million. A blatant insult and absolutely disgraceful. And it's so telling to showing what is represented there. So when you speak about, anyone speaks about white hats or military or the US, believe me, I am well educated throughout the years of what they do and who they are and how they act and what their tactics are. And it's because the US is the last domino to spiritually fall in this battle. This is the very reason Divine GPMS is divinely placed here now as ones make the choice. You know, in the US also, you'll see ones, and this is very important because blatantly what Trump has done as well, he has frightened not only the rest of the world, but the US as well. Because in reality, if you look at this move, this direct attack upon sovereignty, invading a country and taking its leader right out, this is the most serious violation of international law ever to do this. And it's a direct attack on sovereignty and on all of the people. It is not a liberation. And what they're also doing is they're putting out false propaganda. I saw one thing about, oh, Trump come in, liberated Venezuela with 800 pastors and prisoners, political prisoners being released. When I went to look at this, I only see the name of one pastor that was released. And this pastor, he was in jail because of embezzlement and certain, let's say, not to my knowledge, I cannot fully judge him, but it looks like he actually did something wrong to the people. But what occurs is that the Trump propaganda does these things, and it's even as sadistic as one saying Trump is the Christ. For anyone that really wishes to look at this time, Trump is the Antichrist. It was written that the peace accord would be signed, and that was done 4 or 5 years ago. And that was the pivotal point to identify who the actual Antichrist is. This has come to fruition. So for anyone, there's no mistaking when you see one saying they are cleaning up the world and making peace at killing and taking many lives and funding all of that. That is the opposite of what Christ is. Christ is divine GPMS that gives everything to everyone peacefully. No fighting, no war, no deprivation. Everyone has their freedom and their power of their own ability, the love, the harmony, the peace, everything abundance, what this brings and gives to all of the children as well worldwide. Another thing, when you look at all of the children that were in the US with the ICE, if you will, what they were doing, many children left when they come home because of the capitalistic system immigration from Mexico had to occur with ones trying to better their lives. But this is worldwide. This is the same as the Philippines with Sister Lodi. So many expats, they got to leave their country to try to survive because it's the capitalistic system. So then you have Mexican families. And believe me, I know Mexicans are very good as well. And I've heard their stories. And what they say is, Rick, we don't want to go to the US and risk our lives to this degree to try to provide for our families. But because of the cartels and the capitalistic system, we have no choice. And this is the same as out of Africa, if you will. Many, they are fighting for their lives to try to survive. So they are being refugees, going and going. But what's happening is the same system that is causing all of this harm. Then it's attacking the refugees, if you will, and back to the US with what they are doing. It's very sick and it's not acceptable, but I could go on for hours. Brother Jonathan, you have your.
Yes, Jonathan.
Hi there. I just heard, or just wanted to add, so open disclosure, I come from a Jewish family and an Israeli family. I just wanted to touch on, in case anybody is going to hear this within the circle or outside of the circle, I want people to just understand one crucial thing about what happened in October 7th. Israel, in that specific area, is one of the most surveilled borders, if not up to or next to North Korea. So much to the degree that the sophisticated level of technology that is there can almost, if not accurately, tell cockroaches that are crawling in the ground. So I just encourage anybody, I'm not here to tell anybody what's going on, but I encourage people to ask the question, how did the most defensive border in all of that country get have this happen to him? On top of that, I do know for sure one of the soldiers that was there was given a stand down order. So I just invite people to just ask questions. Again, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, but I encourage people to just ask questions, because to me, it feels more that this was allowed to happen versus it just happened. And who benefits?
And because
And that's it.
also, yeah, because also the White Hats spread a lot of video about Jewish and everything against the Jewish. They never told the people the truth. They are not Jewish. Many of them, they are not Jewish. They are soulless people made under the ground, and they come with fake documents as Jewish. It's very, very different. And what happened in, I believe, November 2026, 2025, when Trump make the peace agreement signed with the Israel. This has nothing to do with the peace. It is about to control the Israel, because I was told before by the White Hats, somebody from the White Hats, they were not able to control that area, and the darkness, it's coming from underground via tunnels. So they need to control the territory also to go under the tunnels, under the surface of earth. So it's, but they use all the time the name as Jewish, and there is corruption everywhere. And with Rick, we spoke about um, this corruption and this use of Jewish name and everything, also in GPMS meeting in Romania, because it had also had military link with Putin, that Putin is linked with Trump, and they were against to clean up Romania from the Jewish people. It's you do not need to clean up Romania from the Jewish people. There will be an event on Earth that will clean up all Earth from soulless people because they are part of the darkness creature. And this has nothing to do with the real good people, Jewish, that they are born in Israel. So the right information is not spread, and this is just to keep division and to keep exactly as the protest of the immigration that you saw what happened in Toronto. Yeah, so they use words as Jewish immigration and other kind of stuff. They do not recognize the truth. And for all the people that they still believe on Trump, as Rick shared also in the past, and I will share also right now, I hope that everybody can see that it is about the Operation Warp Speed. If you are looking, Trump is there. This happened in 2020. 2021 and May 15, 2020. So until February 24, 2021. This has a huge influence about what we are saying, mass killing operation on Earth. So I'm saying, look also on the app that the United States develops at this time to centralize the information about the people in the United States. Look on this sign, and when you still believe that there is the freedom or any kind of the freedom, remember decree Divine-gpms.world, first paragraph that is speaking about the real freedom, then align with universal laws, because all these kind of things that appear in reality, they are not aligned with Divine-gpms.world and universal laws. So this is the reason that these things happen and people believe on and they move forward because they believe. They believe, how can I say, there is also the television, there is also the media, but we have a false freedom movement and a false secondary media that is speaking about the freedom, and in reality there it's nothing about any kind of freedom. And I will mention also this movement in Alberta, Benita Pedersen. She did not let GPMS to speak on her event of independence, Alberta, because Alberta independence movement, it's not aligned with universal laws. This is the reason. So they found that GPMS, it is keeping up the true universal laws, and they are not aligned. And I spoke a few days after I was there, and I explained on that GPMS meeting how the independence of Alberta movement is not aligned with universal laws. So she was the one that rejected in North Alberta, in Edmonton, GPMS to be seen by the people, by public. So this is huge. So basically they are not aligned with universal laws, and from there everything it's coming. So the people should react to come and consent and to start to participate as representative and guardian of Divine-gpms.world, share the correct message towards the masses about universal laws, and from there we start. So it's do no harm law. This is all about, and this is divine law, as Eric mentioned many times. I will start also to see churches, and as I said, I will put in writing a little bit of the description what happened there with address, timing, and everything. And this will be public, I'll share public, because all others people may see what happened in the first time, and they can meet also the churches later. And if they are still not aligned with universal laws, they may come anytime and get an correct explanation why in the first time they were not aligned. So I have a little bit of this kind of the experience with the United States, but at this time will be public share what will happen in North Alberta with churches, how the word of God is received there. Thank you so much for everyone that participated on this meeting today. And I hope I see you soon on our weekly meetings, like next week. And please start to participate also on the meetings. Thank you so much to all guardians and representatives that they are working on TikTok and also via other platforms, and also door-to-door and small video creation and everything that they are doing. This is extremely important in divine times. Thank you so much. I have a great day.
Thank you, sister. I'm outside. Is there any more closing comments, I guess, or questions? And if there isn't, yeah, we'll wrap this up. It got quite lengthy. I was doing a lot of rambling, if you will, but these deeper truths had to get out. So, having said that, is it anyone else? And if not, in a moment, when I finish this, we can shut it down.
Yes, so the red button is to you, not to me. You are the host.